Skenes, guys. Thank you for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about the Pittsburgh Pirates and that. My name is Josh. Today is August 21st. Doink! A little pick-me-up in the dog days of summer. 2 homers in the 9th inning Wednesday afternoon. Series dub. PNC Park record. Let's talk about it. It's Friday, guys.
Friday is Hawaiian shirt day. So, if you want to, go ahead and wear a Hawaiian shirt and jeans.
Good morning to everybody listening to this in the morning.
Yeah, it is a good morning there, little man.
Good afternoon, and probably not, well, I guess evening to those of you who are listening then, because we got a late one tonight, a 10-10 game in LA. But let's talk. We got a lot to talk about. Listen, first off, you're going to be seeing or hearing more of these shows on Fridays for the rest of the way out. Who knows? Maybe this team has at least a little more fun this summer. Maybe they go on a run and get back into this thing. Maybe they make it interesting. Maybe they just fall short. Maybe they fall away. Who knows? But even if they don't, we're going to be here for you. Live shows are still going to be happening on Sundays. One more show, either Thursday or Friday, just like this, just to stay on it, just to stay in it. I've missed doing things a little more often this year. Just been kind of doing the Sundays and that's it. And so I think there's room for this. I think there's room for this a little bit further out. I don't know why, but it's also something that kind of helps me get through when things are like this. I understand where baseball's headed. I understand that we all think it's possible doom and gloom for our pastime. But we're going to try to keep doing this even through the off season again, instead of cutting back. We like to discuss things with you guys. We like to talk. We're going to bring it all here. And so we'll talk about everything that's going on. We'll have some fun, all that stuff. You never know. But we're hoping for baseball, and you never know. I guess Andy Dufresne said it best on Shawshank.
Remember, Red, hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies.
That's right. That's right. You tell him, Andy. You tell him. Anyway, we've got some fun stuff planned for the off season, however long the off season ends up being. And we'll hope there's baseball next year. So stick around. We'll have some fun this winter. It's something that that we're going to be around. We're going to be doing some things. We're going to have some fun. It's going to be good. How about some homers?
Back.
84 home runs at PNC Park this summer. 82 was the record. And it was the record that we set in the 7th inning by Flores. Then 2 more in the 9th, Flores and the walk-off by Brandon Lau. So far, we should say, because then we ended up with 84 after this game. There are more to play. And I mean, I'm looking at this. I'm going to pull up some numbers here. We like to look at numbers here. The most the Pirates franchise have ever hit at home is 95. And that was in 1947. Okay. In 99 and 2000, they had the next best 2 years. Now, that was at Three Rivers Stadium, which is why this is a PNC Park thing. But in 99, they hit 91 home runs. In 2000, they hit 86. They've got 84. How many home games do we have left? I don't have the schedule up in front of me. I should have it up, right? When you're talking about stuff like this, you're supposed to have 16 tabs open so that you can just click and be there. So they're all in September. There's 3 against the Giants, 3 against the Angels, 3 against the Brewers, and then 3 against the Royals and Cardinals. I don't know why I didn't count them up. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 more home games. 15 more home games at PNC Park to get. I mean, if you want the full record, right, they've got to hit 11 home runs. I mean, that's possible. They're averaging more than a home run a game. So obviously at 84, they play 81 home games and are still 15 from that. So, this could be the best as far as home runs, and we'll go into more of those as the season ends on where they stand as far as franchise. This offense has been awesome all year. It's been awesome all year. And if you look at the teams that have gotten 81 at home, the 2003, or who've at least gotten 80, the 2003 Pirates, that was PNC Park. That was the previous record of 81. And then 1950, they had 81 at home. And those two teams, 273, 277 average. This team is at 270, but the teams ahead of them, 261, 266, 269. Like, this team is holding their own. The on base is better than all of the other 5 teams at 348. So the OPS is better than all of those teams as well at 784 team OPS. So yeah, that's all just at home. Like I said, we'll talk about the full season numbers and everything like that. But it's been a fun summer as far as home runs go, and at PNC Park at home, and that kind of stuff matters. All right, so now Wednesday we talk about the Rafael Flores game. Pinch hit for Davis, goes 2 for 2. I believe that's the first, I don't have that up, that's the first Pirates player in history. Sarah Lang's put this up. Where's it at? Could have swore we shared that. Don't know. First Pirates player in history to not start and hit 2 home runs, which actually kind of seems kind of crazy, don't you think? Like, of all the years that this has been a franchise, that's never happened. That's insane. But yeah, it was really exciting. Flores, we talked about him Sunday. We asked the question about whether or not we thought this guy was interesting. You know what I mean? And some thought maybe, some didn't. And man, I don't know. It's starting to get interesting. 2 homers, 19 games so far with the Pirates, 6 home runs, 12 RBIs, 313, 411, 729 is good for a 1.140. Rafael Flores, interesting. Now we have to talk about it because we've been talking about it this whole entire time. So we have to talk about it. Paul Skenes, another game where he struggled. He got the extra rest. You really kind of thought, I want to see it. I saw 98 a few times. The location's not there. He ended up going 4 1/3, 4 hits, 3 runs, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts. ERA now sits at 3.95. His whip sits at 1.14. Not all that terrible, but it is higher than the bar that he set, and significantly. I don't know, man. This is something. Hey, Murph, this is something you've got to figure out. I've already seen so many shows. I saw Dan Plesac talking about how he's too rotational right now, and the arm is lagging behind the rotation of the body. And when that happens, you're going to miss arm side because you're throwing it to somewhere you're not going. And that's a big thing. Like, you need to close that hip in a little bit and fire at the same time as the arm. And it's not just for velocity, but it's command. That's the biggest thing for command. Listen, 96, 97, that's still throwing a good fastball. You know what I mean? You're still throwing a good fastball at that velocity. Yes, it's not what we've seen from him, but if he had the command, he'd still be getting away with it. He'd still be pitching well. So you can say it's intentional that you've lowered your velocity a little bit, but what's not intentional is the command. What's not intentional is a lack of efficiency. And these are the kind of things that we want to see at least buttoned up before the end of the season. Certainly if they're going to make a run, it has to happen. But even if there's no run, you want to see this you want to see it buttoned up. Now, I've talked about fatigue. I've talked about whether or not the WBC has anything to do with it. And I still think that there's a case to be made that there is fatigue here. As a matter of fact, fatigue is oftentimes what makes the mechanics break down. So I still I think even more so, if there's mechanical issues, then I'm going back to the fatigue. I'm going back to a lack of rest in the offseason. And it's not, there is some truth to the fact that like you were playing postseason atmosphere before you even were stretched out in spring training, right? But the thing is in order to be able to do that, he started everything early. And when you start everything early, then all of a sudden you get to August, and it feels like this is like late September for him right now. And so I just think there's a lot. I do think fatigue is setting in. It's not necessarily that the WBC is bad. It's just bad timing. And this does kind of paint a picture of whether or not you want your guys go into this. And, like Jake talked about on our show, maybe it's something that prospects do because they can shut down for the month of April or something and get that extra rest and build back up. That's a possibility. If not, it's going to have to be veterans who already understand the grind of this, and they've been doing it for a long time. I think those are the guys that are going to make it happen. I like the prospect thing because I think you get a name for some of those guys, and then like Jake said, then you just shut them down like it's minor league games. You take your time with them. Maybe once they come back, you shut them down for part of spring training, then they work back up in the season or something like that. Or they just do it down in Florida while they're, getting ready for the season, but they're doing it late. That way they don't shut down. You can get those guys starting to pitch in May or something, mid-May, and then you've gotten them enough rest. They still are able to go through and see through the season. And I think it's a really good idea. And we're looking at Paul Skenes. We're looking at him struggle here. Now, one of those runs scored after he came out. And I would say this, man, it's good to see Cruz back. Homer in the first game, RBI single, walk, and a stolen base in the second game. But this game here in particular, the play he made in the gap on that Soto, on the McGonigal double off Soto, with two runners on. He goes in the gap. He gets to the ball quickly. He picks it up. He throws it into Gonzalez. Gonzalez throws home. They get the second runner out at home. And, obviously O'Neal Cruz does things on defense that are usually bad or at least just passable. And every once in a while he does something and you're like, okay, like this is why you're trying this, because he can make an impact on a game that other people can't make. If Jake Mangum is playing center field, we don't get that second guy out at home. And Brandon Lau's home run at the end of the game ties the game, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously the game goes different. You can't really say that all the stuff happened the same, but that's an extra run on Paul Skenes, the whole thing. But the fact that Cruz got there, that Cruz actually made a good play on it, threw it in accurately to Nick Gonzalez, and with his velocity and distance on that, set up Gonzalez perfectly to throw home. That's a play that you just don't get from anyone else on our team if they're in center field. Not any of them. Nick Gonzalez, by the way, very, very good throw on that as well. And listen, we dog Gonzalez a lot, and I tend to say like the dude's hitting 300, get over it. But there's a real thing. Like he's not been very good defensively. We have several guys who have not been very good defensively, but this is something we've seen from Nick Gonzalez before. The relay throws are what I would consider to be a strength of his, which is interesting because the arm is not. But that was a really good throw. We saw that another time earlier in the season, and I can think all the way back to USA, Mexico in the WBC. We're bringing the WBC up again. We were at the game, and there was a play in right field thrown into Nick Gonzalez. Gonzalez threw an absolute seed home right on the money and threw out a guy at home for USA. I distinctly was like, okay, I'm good with that. Like if Nick Gonzalez is going to, I like seeing that. So I think this is maybe something that's a strength in his game. So listen, it's not been a good defensive year for him. I'll give credit when it's due and because it's not very often. So we like that. But O'Neal Cruz in particular, good to see him back. Good to see that bat in the lineup. He's a difference maker in all ways. Like he really is. And, you know, just the RBI single there Wednesday, but then the fact that he threw him out at home, that threw Torres out at home through the relay, that was fantastic. Stole a base too, right? 22nd stolen base of the year. The home run on Tuesday, number 15. Yeah, number 15. What a year it could have been for him. What a year it could have been for O'Neal Cruz. Can he get this team rolling? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. Ashcraft was an absolute dog again. It'd be silly for me not to bring it up. Just a crazy outing again. Another low pitch count game. I think he stopped at 80. Double check that. Stopped at 80 pitches, 61 strikes. He goes 8 innings, 5 hits, just the 1 run, no walks, just 4 strikeouts. But again, it's just a solo homer off of him. This one, Callahan's first career homer. But you're just not getting base runners. He's doing what it takes to get you out. And just so efficient over and over. Back-to-back starts of this type of domination. Love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. And then, you know, Carmen Mlodzinski, we could touch on this real quick before we talk about what's happening. But Mlodzinski gets another start. He throws 3 innings, gives up 4 runs. One of them is a homer. He walked a guy. 8 hits he surrendered in 3 innings. Listen, I've made my statement on this. I know that it's just over. Like put an opener in and let Johan go 2 innings and then let him go or something. Do something else. Blake Bakker's done a good job opening. Open with him and then go Mlodzinski if that's what you want to do. Like, because you think he can give you bulk when you do something like that. But it's not. This ain't it. Starting a game, whatever that does to him, it's not it. It's not working. It won't work. And if they fall out of this and they want to keep trying it, then keep trying it. Because at that point, it really doesn't matter. But you'd like to see this team not limp to the end of the game or end of the season, like we talked about on Sunday. You'd like to see that. Finish strong in some way. I'm going to tell you right now, I think I said it on Sunday. If Bob Nutting looks at a team that he allowed money to be spent and they go under 500, why would he do it again? If the CBA doesn't change things and there's not rules in place that say we're giving you more money, you will spend this money on Major League payroll. You have to, right? That stuff's in place, whatever that looks like. If that doesn't happen, if they don't get that done, why does he spend more, you know, that much further over 100 million? If he can get a team that's under 500 for either one. Why spend more money and be under 500? That's what you're hoping he doesn't look at and see. You can have a really good team at this payroll level, but you can't withstand this many injuries. You just can't. Like you're not going to be deep enough unless all the young guys come up and play really well. That just doesn't happen. So, especially when you were, you know, another 10 million away, 15 million away from putting a good bullpen together in the offseason. We got plenty of time to talk about that kind of stuff. Let's talk about the upcoming series, which we all know is going to be in LA against the Dodgers. And I got to tell you, like when you say, oh, it's Bubba, it's Jared Jones. Okay. And then we don't know because that's Mlodzinski's spot. So we don't know who's going to start on Sunday. But then you look at the other side. The Pirates are up against Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And then Tarik Skubal and then Blake Snell. You talk about a gauntlet. This is what people go through when they play a team like this. There's a lot of money right there. Proven talent. And the Pirates are going on this road trip. It's a 9-game road trip where they go to LA, San Diego, St. Louis before coming home. And they have to come back over 500 on this trip. They absolutely have to. What can that look like? How far over 500 do they have to really be? Because if they lose 2 out of 3 here and they just get one of these 3 games, which is very reasonable, if they get one of these 3 games, you're already behind. And you have to go into San Diego, a team that's also fighting for a wild card spot, and you have to win that series. You absolutely have to. That puts you back at 500. And now you have to win a series against the Cardinals as well, because those are teams that you need to jump if you're going to get back in this. What would be ideal is one of those teams you get a sweep. If you can get a sweep in San Diego or St. Louis, then you can stand to only get one of these Dodger games. Otherwise, you have to win the series in LA against Yoshi, Tarek, and Snell. That's where they're at. That's the hole that they've dug. Maybe they do it. They've done it before, right? They've gone in there and they've won these types of series before. You just never know. Maybe they'll do it. If they don't, the next 6 games, all on the road, are going to be very tough. They're going to be very tough. And we can go further than that, right? Because then they come home and it's not going to get easy after they come back from, where am I at? Actually, they get a little bit of a break. I'm sorry. They get the Giants and Angels. Then they go back on the road, 2 series in Chicago, White Sox and Cubs. Those are tough. Those are playoff teams. And then the Brewers. So then that 9-game stretch is going to be critical before Royals, Cardinals, Tigers again. There's a path, guys. There's a path to get back in it. When you play against the Cardinals 6 times, I know they're above you, but you at least need to get past them, right? But you play against the Padres in this stretch. So, I don't know. When you come back home for that 6-game homestand, you will have had to take in at least 5 of the 9 games on the road. Or else you're out. You're done. You're starting September that far back. Again, outside of like a 10-game winning streak, that can put you back in it at any point if the other teams lose games. So you can look at it that way, but they need to do something like that to get back into this, because they're not going to make up ground being 1 game over 500 on a 9-game road trip. They're not going to get in the but they might not even get to 500 if they keep doing that. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? But we're here for it. We're here for it. We're going to watch it all the way, because if there's not going to be baseball next year, if you're thinking there might not be, then by golly, I'm going to watch the rest of these games and I'm going to enjoy them. And when this thing's done, whether they made it or not, we're going to take a look back at this season, which is going to be a disappointment if they don't make it. But it wasn't a total loss when you're just looking for good baseball. Because for the majority of the season, regardless of what we want to complain about on defense and what happened at the back end of the bullpen, like, this team did some things this year that were pretty cool. They got one more in the tank, then they try to get back in this thing. They don't just keel over and die. And what we saw Wednesday was a sign of that. That's the kind of thing that can maybe catapult you to make a run. Listen, until they go on a run, they're out as far as I'm concerned. However, show fight and get close. And September is going to be a fun month to watch, at least, just to see if they can do it. That's all we have for today. We'll be back at it Sunday night, live, I believe 8:30. We'll see. But come back Sunday night. We'll have a good time. Again, stick with us. Watch baseball. Nobody likes this preseason stuff anyway. Thanks, guys. Let's go Bucks.
Thanks for listening to my dad and Uncle Jake on the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2Buctober. Don't forget to subscribe so you know when new episodes are released. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucks!
Friday